At age 11, I knew I wanted to tell stories. But being a filmmaker wasn't always in the picture of what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. Like every other African child, I had fantasized about being a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and I showed huge promise for greatness in these glorified careers. Valedictorian in high school, in college, everyone, my family, parents, teachers, everybody had huge expectations of me. But I betrayed these expectations when after college, after working briefly as a professor of languages in the university, I abandoned the blossoming career in education to become a storyteller. It didn't make sense to anyone, not to my parents, to family, my friends, teachers, not even to myself. But I knew I had heard clearly from God to give up on everything else and tell healing stories to inspire healing in a world broken by hate. In 2019, I received an invitation to travel to Sierra Leone to be a writer on a TV show.
I had been serving Christians in action for over a year and a half, and at the end of a 2-week trip, a week serving in Ghana and a week in Sierra Leone, I finally had one day to myself before flying home.
I had taken a walk down to the beach to experience the serene atmosphere of Freetown, Sierra Leone.
And I found a coffee shop. I went in and began to drink a coffee and made eye contact with this young African man.
Right there at the beach was this huge white man standing by the beach drinking coffee. I still cannot tell the instinct that arose in me to approach him.
I motioned with my head. He came and sat with me, and within just a matter of moments,
I was very quick to share my aspirations with him.
He said to me, "My goal, my purpose in life is to share the gospel of Jesus Christ through film, through stories."
That got him excited. And in return, he shared stories about his family and his journey. He told me he had this book he wrote.
The Caleb Years has that very purpose of sharing the gospel, and that we wanted that book to become a film. That was a goal we had set. "Oh, I'm going to write the script for your movie," he quickly said.
I didn't know if he believed me or not, but he said, "Well, if you can come down to my hotel room, I would give you a copy of my book."
Much to my surprise, he showed up.
With a copy of my book as well, because at the time I had published 2 books.
So we spoke briefly,
Exchanged books,
I signed the book and gave it to him.
and we separated.
I'll confess I didn't give it much more thought.
I didn't read the book. I didn't know if I had any reason to.
About 6 months later, he reached out to me. And then again, another 6 months after that. And then another 6 months, he called and said, "I'm in the States." I knew his father had passed away.
There was almost nothing left for me in Nigeria. I made a big move, left family, friends, and I came to the United States to chase after my dream as a storyteller. When I arrived, I quickly called David Ingerson.
He came to visit us, and my wife fell in love with him.
Unimaginable love that I cannot begin to express. They sent me away to New York with lots of goodies, winter clothes, money. I still remember right in New York while I was still in school. Some days I would wake up and I have a Zelle alert on my phone. Money sent from David Ingerson. I reached out to him one day. I'm like, "Why are you sending me money?" And he said, "Martins, when your son is in school, you don't wait for them to ask for money before you send to them." That made a huge impact on me.
It was our privilege to help the young man, to encourage him. We believe in him. I believe his creative genius has resulted in 3-4 feature films that he has produced since he's been in the States.
Don't follow me,
You have
you're
to
not.
listen to me, please.
The captain's wife is about to have a baby.
Is there something wrong?
Right now, your son needs to go to ICU. There's nothing wrong with his heart.
We've already run 3 tests, Vicky. You're not pregnant.
Dr. Greg, I have slept with all kinds of men. Black, white, brown, handsome, ugly. If I haven't had my period in months, what else would it be if I'm not pregnant?
We're a woman in her
No,
40s.
don't give me that. This is not menopause. I'm not barren. I will conceive another baby. I will have my own child. No IVF, no surrogacy. I've been pregnant many times. There's nothing wrong with me. Nothing. I'm not adopting. I am not adopting. I will have my child.
Vicky, where's the baby?
Spent 7 months working on this project. And when we finished shooting, I received a mandate from God to come to Fresno and make a film titled Somewhere Else. It was going to be a story to lend our voice against bullying and advocate for equal dignity for people born with disabilities. I didn't know anyone other than David in Fresno, but in obedience, I made a trip from Los Angeles and came to Fresno, and I told David, hey, I want to do a film in May.
Yeah, I said, okay, that's fine. So what day in 2025 in May are we going to start the shooting? He said 2024.
He didn't believe it.
I said, Martin, you're insane.
But I told him, we have to start. I know a friend of mine, Felix Mendoza, who told me that the only way to start is by starting. We needed help. Every help that we could get. Rob Carter was there to connect us to all the people that we needed to meet, to give us their homes as shooting locations. We went to Ridley Police Department and the Chief of Police. He jumped right into the project, instructed his officers to give us all the support that we needed, whether he was there or not. We got background actors, students from Silas Bach School. The support we received from this city, Fresno, was overwhelming.
And indeed, we did film in May of 2024.
So after the movie Somewhere Else was made, I went back to LA and I was asking myself, what is next? It was at that time that the Spirit of God laid a burden in my heart to come back to this city and tell true stories of individuals who have been hurt, broken, individuals who have experienced trauma from divorce, addiction, individuals who were once lost but are now saved. I met with Pastor Nathan Franklin on one of the Sundays I worshiped at Cornerstone, and I shared my vision with him. He said, Martins, my father, Jim Franklin, would like to meet with you. He set up a meeting. We came and I shared my heart with Pastor Jim Franklin. He welcomed me with open arms. They gave me all the support that I needed to bring this dream to fruition, one of which was introducing me to the young man, Anthony Watson, who became the leading actor in the film The Fisherman. It was such an amazing opportunity working with Anthony. He gave up on his job for a good number of days. We had several rehearsals. We worked on the story together. We built solid friendship. And when it was time to shoot, it was phenomenal. David and I have formed an unconventional relationship that transcends race and cultural values. The same relationship I have with my friend and co-director of the movie Somewhere Else, Jide Cole. The same unconventional partnership I have with my friend and co-founder of the Begin Film Festival, Ryan Thomas, who, while we were here filming in Fresno, he was out there in LA working relentlessly, making sure that this year's festival was well organized. And what we do at the Begin Film Festival is to inspire creative artists not to give up on telling stories, especially in times like this when breaking through seems like an impossible task. After due consideration, Ryan and I decided that this year's event would be hosted here in Fresno. Just a little way to give back to this community that has welcomed us, and also to let the people of Fresno know that there is yet another platform existing for filmmakers to have their films screened and for their creative voices to be heard. We implore you to sit back and experience everything we have in store for you tonight. We're not going to take long. And the one thing that drives our motive is a desire to tell compelling stories, to inspire healing for the brokenhearted and revival for the lost. Once again, I want to express immense gratitude to everyone who worked on this project, The Fisherman. beginning from my dear friend Felix Mendoza, the man behind the camera who went out of his way to help in telling the story, the gaffer, Ian, Mark, the sound guy, even my associate producer, Matthew Sanchez, who helped out with the locations, my co-executive producer, Barbara, Vashi. I cannot begin to mention each one of us one after the other, but thank you. And to you, watching this, we're grateful that you're here. Now sit back and enjoy this inspirational film on fatherhood, The Fisherman.